is with us thanks to some ERIN funding, and he is working with us half the week, helping our students go from idea to launching their companies. And Dale is going to introduce our speaker.
Thanks, Cecile. Thanks, everybody, for coming out. And if you are a student or staff who are interested in starting your own business, please reach out to the Maji Center. We've got some fantastic programming that's going on right now that you probably don't even know about because it's coming out fast and furious. But it's my pleasure to introduce Jeanel. The first time I met Jeanel, she wandered into the offices of my former place of employment. And I was fortunate enough to get her and her friend Ajiro, also an excellent entrepreneur in his own right. And right away, Jeanel was telling me about this really crazy, wild retail business plan that she had. And I'll be honest with you, Jeanel, I wasn't entirely able to wrap my brain around it. But you could certainly tell that Jeanel was next level smart and next level impressive. So it is with great pleasure that I get to watch her successes while taking absolutely zero credit for any of it because she is a rock star and would have got that way regardless. So Jeanel, I will turn it over to you. I'm excited for everybody in the audience. Thank you again for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dale, for having me. Yes, as Dale has just mentioned, I met him back when I went to Business Link to get some assistance. I had been a part of a presentation, and Business Link said that they had free marketing research resources. And I'm all about getting free information. I'm sure entrepreneurs here feel the same way when we can get information and resources to help our business. I'm definitely one who is adamant and about that. So Dale had assisted me in giving me a lot of information on several retailers, small business retailers in the Alberta area. And with that information, I was ready to start up my business and do a lot of cold calling. That's in essence how my business even, got started, because I didn't know you could access information where I could get the phone numbers of all these small businesses and really start building out my company. So I will give you guys a little bit of a background story about me, and then I would like to go into 10 steps that I put together that has helped me generate really good money, because I'm sure so many people here, as an entrepreneur, we want to figure out how we make money, right? Because we all have ideas, and I'm sure everybody here has $1 million idea. And even if you don't have an idea yet, I'm sure one will come to you as you go through your programming. So what I would like to first mention is, so I am born and raised here in Edmonton, Alberta. I did not come from a family with a lot of money. I was one of the first people in my family to go to college and university. So that was really huge. In my family, though, we had a lot of entrepreneurs, right? So my family, I'm half Ecuadorian, half Jamaican. I mainly reside with my Ecuadorian side, and many were people in my family had their own shops here in Edmonton, as well as would sell at festivals. So whether that be handmade, or that would be sourcing and then selling at the retail level. So that's really cool. So I would say I still always had that entrepreneurial bug in me from my family. From my family. And that's why I decided to go to business school. So my journey to business school was a little bit rocky, though. I initially took courses in fashion. But then after I took my diploma in fashion, so I have a fashion buying and marketing diploma from one of the top fashion schools in Vancouver. But after taking that program, I realized, wow, I need to know a lot more about business to build a business, because 90% of business is the accounting, the strategy, finances, everything else that, 10% is really being more creative and coming up with something innovative. I never like to say new, because there really isn't any new ideas, but there definitely are a lot of new innovative ways to do old ideas. So after realizing that, I ended up going to MacEwan University. So I did a business management diploma there. And then I then went to U of A and I just decided, you know what, let me just get a degree at this point. Because even doing a diploma for me, wasn't enough. If I'm being honest, I would say I was definitely more of a creative out of high school. I definitely was more about creating, sketching. That's really what I was good at. So I definitely encourage everybody here to spend as much time getting better in the other side of what you may not be the best in. So everything I studied wasn't, I would say, areas that I was good at. I studied in areas I was terrible at. I actually had to take calculus twice. The first time I took it, I don't know what I was thinking, but I took it completely online. So I took calculus completely online, and I had a tutor trying to help tutor me. But then, long story short, ended up having to take calculus again. And after going to university, I was top of my class for accounting and finance. So that just goes to show you that, you don't have to be the best at something, but I think to be a great entrepreneur is to ensure that you invest your time and effort in areas that you are bad at. Because in school, I find, and if I can go back in time, I would take more harder classes. The goal of education isn't to just get straight A's. All right. If you're getting straight A's, you're really not challenging yourself enough. So you might want to jump into a program that you think you'll be fantastic in, but you could have really grown in a different area. And as somebody who is self-employed and continues to self-educate, I always find it's easier for me to educate in areas that I'm good at, post education. So I just want to encourage everybody here, because that was key to my success. Because if I hadn't gotten better in those areas, I would not know how to, manage my own business. So I hope that gives you a little bit more information on me. Now I'm going to jump into the meat of the discussion and why I'm sure everybody's here today. So I'm just going to share my screen with you, and we're going to go over 10 areas that are crucial to building a business that you can scale. All right, let me get this slide open for you. Okay, great. Can everybody confirm that you can see my screen? Awesome. All right, so let's go over 10 steps. So don't worry, I'm going to go through each of these, but if you want to take a screenshot. Again, I am all about efficiency. All right, I remember being in school and taking a lot of notes, writing a lot of stuff down. But you can just screenshot a lot of things. So feel free to just take a screenshot. I'm telling you, just start early in speeding up the process. Always. Okay. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we got 10. So the first that I'm going to go over is global ownership. Next, we're going to go over brand authority, value proposition, proof of concept. And we're going to touch on what oversaturated really means in the market. Then we're going to go over asset-light business models, which is similar to, Airbnb and Uber, Lyft. Then we're going to go over get your act together. This is huge, and this will be a huge game changer for you. 7 is network to net worth, right? So there's so much in having an amazing network that can really get you in the high rollers club. Then number 8 we have is find a mentor. I'm going to go over what a mentor really is and what a mentor should look like. It's not the same thing as finding somebody to job shadow or internships. All right. That's a huge thing I see, and you may be going about it completely wrong. Just to touch on that, one of my mentors is the Global Business Development Officer for Alibaba. He lives in Hong Kong. So I know how to find you good mentors. Number 9 is outsource it. And then 10, we're going to go over affiliate marketing. And then I have a little bonus at the end. Okay, so number 1 is global ownership. There's a saying in law that says you don't build a house on land that you do not own. So that is huge. So when you're going to build your business, a name is very important. I talk about this all the time because I do a lot in the luxury retail market. We talk about how in the West, we find that people like foreign sounding names when they're trying to buy more higher luxury. And then in the East, they like more English sounding names and symbols, such as Lacoste. And then vice versa. Here in the West, we prefer, Balenciaga and different type of names like that. So a name is huge. There's some names out there that are worth $1 billion just in the name itself, right? So that's a huge thing. And what is ownership? That I'm talking about is your trademark. Whatever business name you're coming up with needs to be trademarkable. If you don't have a trademark, then you really don't own your business. Really, it's owned by everybody if you don't own the name. And I've heard sometimes where people say, you know what, you can always change a name later on or whatever, but I'm telling you, name is so important. And name is what has, kept my business at the forefront of everything that we do. So let's go over a couple key things. So what can be trademarked? Your logo can be trademarked. Your symbols that are used in associations, slogans, and as well as sounds. All right. There's different ways that you can apply for a trademark. So there's two specific ones. You can do intent to use, which means you aren't using the trademark name currently that you want to use for your business. And then there's also, you can apply in use. So if you're already using it, which is the ideal one you want to use. A key thing you would want to write down if you are interested in a trademark is to understand that a trademark needs to be used for the product or service you are applying for. All right, so it has to be in use. So the person who will get the rights to that trademark is the person who's using it in commerce. So it's not enough for you just to have a name. And let's say, for instance, you were to do a pitch, right? Maybe you do a pitch competition and you're using a name for an app that you're pitching. That name is not protected because it's not in use. Even if you have a little TM on it, even if you can show that, oh, this wasn't my idea, I did a pitch on it and what a year. If you don't have transactional sales, it is not protectable. So somebody else can take that name and use it if you have not been using it yet. So that is huge. So keep that in mind for everybody here who has a business idea, right? Make sure you use that name. There has to be a sales transaction. There has to be money tied to prove you have used it first. Otherwise, somebody else can just steal it. And that happens more often than not. Another thing to keep in mind for your trademark is making sure it's not confusingly similar. A name is not good enough just because nobody else is using it. It can't sound similar. It can't look similar. And it can't cause confusion. All right. So just because somebody's not using the exact name doesn't mean that you can use the name. So if it's similar, so just because you add a Y instead of an I, just because you add a C instead of an S, if it sounds the same, even looks the same, you're not going to get it. And it's a waste of your time. The next thing I want to talk about is copyright. Copyright, again, super important. All of these things that I'm mentioning is usually the last thing that entrepreneurs think about. It's like an afterthought, but this is the most important. That's why it's here as number one. When it comes to your copyright, you can copyright your audio, anything written, books, articles, your website. That's why you always see the little C at the bottom of the website. But any kind of content that you put out, you need to have your copyright on it, right? Copyright C at whatever company. Because you will start to see that people will take or modify content that you have already put out. And if you don't have any copyright on it, then again, you do not own it. And if you want to build a business, you need to own everything. So that's a huge thing. So make sure you look into copyright, for you own your words, you own your thoughts. This is huge in podcasts as well. Copyright is something where, for example, let's say here today, everything that I'm talking about, right? Somebody then takes everything that I talked about, my 10 steps, and then creates their own program based on my 10 steps, right? So again, that's something that you need to keep in mind, right? And protect yourself. The next thing I want to talk about is your work for hire. When it comes to work for hire agreements, this is what you would need for any graphic designers, all right? Any ghost writers. You must always have them sign over their rights to you. Same with photographers. They will own it if they do not sign it over to you, even if it's work that they performed for you. All right, that's just what it is. So you always have to have a work for hire agreement and people have to sign over their rights. Otherwise, again, you do not own your photos. You do not own the text. You don't own anything. And if you don't own it, then it's not yours. And if it's not yours, you can't build a business on it, right? And you can't monetize that business through licensing and other things. So another huge thing is licensing. So licensing is big for me. I do a lot of speaking engagements. And what licensing does, it licenses out any kind of content that you're doing for a certain amount of time. So for instance, I might get booked, right? Let's say I'm getting paid 10 grand to speak for 15 minutes at a conference or virtually. And I still need to own that. Even though I'm doing it for them, you still want to retain ownership, right? So what you would do in that case, what they're really doing, you're doing more like, you would make it more like you're advertising for them, right? And you would give them, hey, okay, yeah, I'll do that 15 minutes and you can have that video up for people to rewatch it for the next 6 months, and then it must be taken down. Why would you want to do that? Number one is, again, ownership. You have to own all your content. You can't just do something for somebody and let them do whatever it is with it. There has to be in your agreement, everything stipulated. It can only be used for this event. It can only be used for this year. It cannot be reused to promote your second event that's coming up, right? So that's huge. And I know everybody here, I'm sure, knows a little bit about influencer marketing, all that kind of things. And that's really how I generate a lot more money for my speaking, because I never do something for a company and let them use it till the end of time. Because I know they're going to have another conference this year. They might have 4 conferences a year in 4 different countries. And I know that I have a pretty big voice and I can motivate people to attend. And for that reason, if they want me to speak about their conference, they're going to have me speak about it every single time they have it, because that video will expire before their next one. And I've also stipulated you can't use it to promote your 2022 year. Okay? So I hope that's giving you guys great information. We're going to move on. Next, we have when you are online, your business is accessible everywhere. Okay, don't worry. I'm going to be providing these slides. So don't worry, just kind of listen along. You are going to want to understand that it's available everywhere. Like I said, it's not just about your neighbors stealing your idea, it's the world. There's everybody online who can steal your idea. If you don't own it, it's everybody else's. Your idea is everybody else's. Your brand name is everybody else's. This is number one key to you succeeding or not. There's also something called the Madrid Protocol. This is something where once you get a trademark in, let's say, US or Canada, if you can show you have a global presence, then you can apply and then you can automatically gain trademark protection in 100 countries. I recommend everybody here, if you're looking to do a trademark, registered with USPTO. So register with the US first. Try to get a sale in the US. It is way bigger than here in Canada. Canada's population is about less than the size of California. So you're going to want to, US will be one of your biggest players. So it's important that you get a USPTO trademark. I have a few trademarks already and about 7 pending. So make sure you guys think about that. Also, social media platforms and your domain name, that is real estate. There's nothing more, crucial these days than your domain name, a .com is so imperative these days. Just the other day, I paid for a domain name. I paid $1,500 just for a domain name. Okay, so, you know, I'm sure everybody here, maybe you're buying a lot of .99 domain name, but is it really like you get what you pay for? So there's a lot of names out here that might be $1,000 for a .com, but a really good one you can buy for $1,000, flip it for $10,000, or you can build a $1 million company just off the name because you have that really good domain name. So that was just the other day, and I didn't even blink an eye. It's just a normal day. So make sure you keep that in mind. You know, you don't just go for the 99 cents. Don't just go, oh, it's too expensive. You know, there's ways. You know, if you have a credit card, if it's worth it, pay the monthly, right? Like we all need to if you want a $1 million business, you have to have $1 million names. You have to have $1 million ownership. It is so imperative. So, you know, don't get discouraged if something's taken. Even if somebody else owns it, reach out. Hey, I'll give you X amount of dollars for this name, right? So always think that way as well. Next is brand authority. This is huge, and this is what I'm an expert in. I'll actually share with you guys a video so that you can get more information on brand authority. All right, so the number one thing you have to understand about brand authority is it really comes down to the founder of the company. Yes, people care about who the founder is. I know a lot of people don't want to be the face of their brands, but you have to be, especially as a startup, if you want to accelerate the process. I know a lot of people, it's so much better to just get an idea out there, get a concept out there, get some revenues, and exactly that, be the face. People will remember a face before they remember the name and the logo. You know, you're not big enough, right? You have to understand that you yourself can push your business really, really fast if you use yourself. So a couple people I wanted to mention is Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, you know, stellar people in the industry. And why are they? You know, it's not only that their companies are amazing and at the top of their game, it is also that they are leaders. They are seen in the industry as what we would call a thought leader. And they would speak on, if you think about the top people that you may know about or you may read about, you know, they're always on discussions of topics such as the future of whatever, the state of, you know, the fashion industry, the future of mobile commerce. You need to be that person at the front of that industry. Me, I do a lot in retail, so I'm at the front of all of that. So whenever something's happening in the industry, you and your company need to be at the front because nothing's cooler than a company that people see as at the forefront. So, you know, if you want to be a leader and an authority and seen as number one, you need to be pushing the industry forward. Also, what new features are you adding? What is something that you can be the best in? You do not have to be the best in everything, but you need to be the best at something. And if you can do this, you can easily position yourself in the industry as a thought leader. Next, I want to talk about value to customer. So this is your value proposition. When you're coming up with a new service or product, never overestimate the importance that product has in solving your person's problem. All right, I know you may have an idea to solve, I don't know, anything. You might have an idea of how to make shoveling faster, how to, you know, all these different things. But do people care enough to pay? Right? There's a lot of, like I said, there's no new ideas. There's just innovative ways to do it. But even in your thought of innovation, do people care enough if you innovate shovels? Like, do people really care enough to pay the extra, or are they just going to do it how they've always done it because they have better things to do and things that are at higher concern to them? You have to always think that way because we can always innovate, right? That's why I always say there's no new ideas. We can always innovate, but do people care enough for it to be innovative? I have a friend who had done a product and, you know, she had sales the first month and then it bombed. So these kind of products are similar to those TV show things, right? Or what you see at a kiosk, right? It's here today, gone tomorrow. So a lot of those kind of things that don't have that high of value and you need a lot of marketing and it's kind of shiny for 2 days and then it's over with. That's what I'm talking about here. So make sure there's actual value to your customer. So when you're coming up with your value proposition, the best way you want to think about it is the benefit that they receive minus the cost is their real value. So what is the real benefit minus the cost equals the actual value that your product or service has. This is huge. So at a later time, make sure you research value proposition and figure this out. This is probably one of the most important parts of picking out a product or service that would be good for you. Another thing I wanted to mention here is value is most tied to basic needs. So basic human needs, whether that's food, social, time, money. All right. People want to save time, right? Now we think about Uber, Lyft, right? Getting a taxi is 10 times faster, right? Safety as well. I'm not going to get kidnapped if I jump in here because it's rooted. I can see if you're making a wrong turn, right? So those are things you need to think about. It's the basic things that people will pay for. Sometimes entrepreneurs try to do something too out of the box, things that people aren't concerned about. It's the day-to-day things, food, time, how to make more money, things that are day-to-day that people care about. Shelter, if we think about, Airbnb. When I travel, what are the basic needs that I need? And that I know right now, we have an app for every one of those solutions. You can be that solution. You just need to really think about, okay, how do I focus on the basic needs that people really care about? Here I had how you can kind of define it. So it's a little bit hard to read here, but it says describe key attributes of target markets. So, for example, this could be for women entrepreneurs who aren't satisfied with highlight traditional offer. So who aren't satisfied with their finances. Our proposition helps them explain what they want to get done. Our proposition helps them easily manage their daily expenses. Tell in what occupation this is. Daily expenses when operating a business. Unlike manually keeping track of your receipts on a piece of paper, we do an innovative app that allows you to easily screenshot and save it into your phone. It's better because give reason to believe. It's better because it's all in one place and easily you can see it all in one snapshot. So I just came up with that on the top of my head, but that's kind of what you would put together. So hopefully that sounded all right, but that's kind of what you can put together in explaining the value to a customer. So number 4 is proof of concept. All right. Like I said, there's no new ideas. We're just being more innovative, and that is okay because we need to continue being innovative. There's so much new technology, so many ways to make an old way fresh, newer, exciting, and help people in their day-to-day. So a great new innovative product can simply be in a new market. It could simply be a new angle, a new design, or just a new market who hasn't tapped into whatever this product is that's being successful somewhere else. So what you want to look at when you have an idea is there proof that something similar has been successful? It doesn't have to be successful in the same market. It just needs to be successful anywhere, in anything. So whatever you're coming up with, is there something similar that is being successful to what you're doing to really give you the A-OK that there is some sort of demand here? Another thing you can do is A/B testing in the marketplace. Again, like I said, there's really no new ideas. It's just more innovative. So I'm going to go into this, I believe, in the next slide here, which is about an asset-light business model. So an asset-light business model is a model in which you don't have that many assets that you own as a company, right? You don't have to you're not the one supplying. So this is the Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, Dog Vacay companies of the world, as well as Rent the Runway. So this is when you don't have to give the assets for other people to make money. They can come with their own assets. So this is huge. And why is this something that is a hot term used in the startup community? Because you don't need capital to do it. So asset light businesses is the way to go. And yes, so this is how all of my businesses are set up. And who told me about business models? My mentor. So the business development officer of Alibaba, who had, he's the person who put together all of the factories that are on the Alibaba platform that allows, shipping from China, sourcing products all the way around the world. They have an asset light business model because Alibaba doesn't own any of those factories. They just facilitate the transactions and make a piece. So the number one thing to understand for asset light, if you want this model, is you need to think about, does it make people money? Because if you can make people money, that's how you make money, right? That's the only way that it works. So nobody's going to sign up to use your app if their goal is to make money from it, if they're not making it, right? It's just going to bomb. So a big thing is, does your business idea enable anyone to start on it and start making money, right? So if we think about Uber, yeah, it enables anybody. I could start going on Uber, I'm pretty sure, in a couple months if I really wanted to, guys. Same with Airbnb, Lyft, same thing. I could do it if I wanted to. And that's the huge thing about asset light business models, right? As long as I have a place, as long as I have a car, right? It's on me to have an asset, and I can now utilize that asset to make money. What's huge about this, there has to already be demand. All right, this ties into an oversaturated market. I know a lot of people think, oh, this market is oversaturated. I don't think I should go into it. What are you talking about? You want to go into an oversaturated market. If it's oversaturated, then there's huge demand for it. So it makes no sense when I hear some people say, oh, you should go into a market that there's nobody in. Nobody's in it because there's no money to be made. So no, you want to go into any kind of market that is oversaturated because you want to get a chunk. And if there's a lot of money flowing around, you have a better chance on getting a piece of the pie. That's just, for me, what I want to recommend. I know there's a lot of different opinions about that, but for me, I am in every market that is oversaturated and I just take my piece, and so far so good. Another advantage is scalability. You can easily scale because you don't need to put more resources into it. It's on the onset for everybody else to, sign up easily, download the app, get it all together themselves. So it makes it so much easier for you to run and grow that business. All right. Another thing on this is you want to start niche and then you want to expand. Never start a business with too much going on. Start with one thing, and then it will grow from there. And what's great about it is that what you grow into will be demanded by those who already use your product or service. So all you need to do is just start building from one area, one part of the niche of the industry you want to be in, and you can always grow from there. The next topic I want to talk about is branding. Okay, so branding is super important as a business, and branding is really a production. So, Dale had mentioned another gentleman that I used to work with. We ran a production company, and that's because business is a production. And branding sometimes is a term that people don't understand. So I just wanted to kind of break it down. So it's easy to understand branding if you see it as a production. So what that means is, branding is not just a logo, it's not just the color, it's the personality, the tone, and the emotion that you want to invoke in your customers. It is the brand story, the messaging, and it communicates who this product or service is for. So you really want to understand what is the story behind your brand, because this really is, for example, the synopsis of the movie or book that you want to read. If you go into a bookstore, right, there's different categories, right? There's fiction, there's art, there's business, right? Depending on what your product is, you're going to be in one of those categories. So now somebody's going to go to that category, okay? And they're going to see a bunch of different products with different branding, right? If you also think about if you go to the food store and you go to the bread aisle, there's every type of different bread. It's all bread, but they all have different packaging. They all have a different brand. And so this is part of production. Your brand doesn't just create itself, you create the brand because you're going to be in that aisle, you're going to be on that category, and you want to have it easily understandable who should pick you up. Because if you're not clear on who should pick you up, then you're never going to have good customer satisfaction. You're never going to have good reviews. People won't amplify your brand because the wrong people are using it. So branding is a way that you can produce and create a concept and make it very clear who should pick it up, right? In the aisle that they're in. So never forget that because if you're not clear on your branding, the wrong people will utilize your product or service and it will never grow. The clearer you can be about your brand and who it's for, and communicate that story, because that's how your audience will want to connect and understand, right? The synopsis, that's what I'm telling you. It's not just to look at a book cover, I'm going to flip it on the back and read what it's about, right? So same thing with your business. And then I'm going to go to checkout. The next point here is network to net worth. So as the pandemic has shown us with social distancing, what does networking look like in 2021? Well, number one is that the best networkers let their work network for them. So networking isn't shaking hands with every person and handing out business cards and going from this event to that event and meeting 101 people. The best networkers let their work network for them. You will become the best networker once you start putting out high quality content that people can learn from, that people see as a resource, and as well as once you have a business that is successful. Your work will do the networking for you. So keep that in mind moving forward in 2021. There is nothing that can network faster for you than the work that you put out. So don't think you got to go to this event, that event, this. All you have the computer. Put something out. Put something valuable out. It will network for you. So that's why we always see a lot of blogs, a lot of books, podcasts. People think you can't make money off blogs. It's ridiculous. Yes, you can make a lot of money off blogs, and I'm going to talk about that on our last point. But that's because all of this information networks for you. That person putting out a blog post that gets 5,000 views on their post about mobile tech is the future, those people are getting mega deals and sponsorship that nobody here even knows about. And they have affiliate links and everything that you can think of because that one post networks to 5,000 people, and then they have 50,000 people in their newsletter. And you can't do that by meeting 5 people at an event. So keep that in mind. If you want to network to get to the net worth that you want, this is how you do it. Let your work do the legwork for you. You don't have to be out there talking to everybody. Another part of this is the power of an offer. Needs to be mutually beneficial if you are trying to network one-on-one with people. Networking isn't getting something from somebody. Networking is giving something to somebody, right? And you would be so surprised of the people that are very successful who would love for somebody to come up to them with an idea, somebody to come up with them with a way for them to make more money, because successful people will never turn down an opportunity to make more money. So if you come with an offer, that's the best way to network. This past year, I would say everybody who I would consider I networked with, we are all in partnerships now together and we are in business together. So again, because they had an offer and I also have an offer too. So the best networking, it goes both ways. Another thing I also wanted to mention is the power of free. All right, there's different type of information that you can give. You'd be so surprised that simple resources and tips can really help you drive additional sales later. So I have a lot of information that I put up on blogs. and that gets people in my email list. And then on my email list, that's where I hit them with events or courses or affiliate programs that I think they would be interested in based on the blog post that they read. And then I convert them there. So that could even just be one course worth $2,000 that I've sold just because somebody read a blog post, 5 tips on merchandising. So never forget the power of free, because that gets people on the list, that gives people their first inkling that you know something, and then you can later convert them to a sale. Number 8 is to find a mentor, okay, or a business coach. Mindset is everything. So when you're looking for a mentor, make sure you go after somebody who has the mindset that you admire. It's not so much about somebody having a successful company as much as it is about somebody who you look up to. I feel as though the best business coaches I've ever had, I look up to them because I love the strategy. I like their mind. It's not really about the business that they run. I like the way that they think, and I like the way that they do business. And there's not a lot of people out here in the industry who know how to do good business. Good business is not something that you just read in a book and learn how to do. Good business is just something that you do. It's almost like good manners in business. So find somebody who has integrity, find somebody who gives back to the community. Those are the best people to inspire you to want to continue being an entrepreneur. Money is not the end all be all. You can make money from everybody. So don't make your choice on a mentor strictly driven by their business success, because people are, how many people have, multiple $1 million ideas? That may be their only, $1 million idea. And your idea is not even the same as theirs. So who knows how successful they can really, help you with yours. Yours is something different. But what can help you is the mindset. And if you have the right mindset from the right person, you can really develop your business into something great. So mentorship is not an internship and is not job shadowing. Those are different. So if you're looking for an internship because you want to learn about an industry or see if this industry is for you, that's not the same thing as mentorship. Job shadowing, again, is not the same thing as mentorship. A mentor isn't somebody who's going to show you how they run their business. They're just there to guide you in the right direction. It's very much mindset driven. And that's why I'm telling you, focus on somebody with the right mindset, because they're not going to show you how they do their business. I certainly am not. So with me, I have my mentees, and exactly that. It's more about mindset and talking them through their ideas and making sure that they're, being strategic, not so much showing them how to run a business like mine. It can be really any business that I assist on. Another thing about having a great mentor is you can jump from the first floor to the top floor. Having the right mentor can get you in rooms that you would just never be in. It can surround you with people that can give you so much valuable insight. And again, this still ties to networking, because nobody is, unfortunately, people aren't going to give you people aren't going to give you money. People aren't going to give you all of this stuff just because you have an idea. Everybody has an idea. But what people can give you is invaluable knowledge. And if you can get in the room of people with invaluable knowledge, that can take you to new levels. That can get you to new places. They can connect you with new people. So when you're finding a mentor, also look at their network, right? Because that's who they're going to be introducing you to. I have a great network. So for people who are interested in fashion and retail, they look at me, they want me to be their mentor, but they also see my network and they love everybody in my network as well. So it's a fit. Another thing is, when you're searching for a mentor, it's great to make sure that that mentor sees you as their younger self. So don't select a mentor who's just completely has no similar things as you. Find somebody who maybe has a similar upbringing, a similar background, for you guys can connect on a more intimate level. So also think about that as well, because again, it's just interpersonal relationships, and it works best when your mentee reminds you of your younger self, and your mentee sees you as somebody that they aspire to be. Okay, number 9 is outsource. So write down this term, everybody. If you have your notes, make sure you write down this term here. You want to document everything. This is known as a process called standard operating procedures. All right, so SOPs. This is number 1. And if you ever want to, well, you should outsource day-to-day tasks that you do. So these are called standard operating procedures. What does this look like? This is basically you having a Word document that's, by bullet points of exactly how to do a task that you do. This can also include a video screen recording of you doing those tasks. This is what you need if you want to hire somebody off Upwork or off Fiverr to do work that you've already figured out how to do. So for instance, it could be anything. I know a lot of entrepreneurs who utilize this who have agencies. So they no longer put together the business plans, like the market research part of it. They have these standard operating procedures that they have the people that they outsource simply just follow. So they pull the information from wherever, categorize it by this way, create a pie chart like this, and it's all in a document, and there's screen recording. So anybody, zero experience to great experience, can complete the task because you have documented exactly how to get it done. All right. Another thing part of this is, again, you want to have NDA agreements if you are outsourcing, as well as, again, work for hire agreements. So outsourcing is huge. Like I mentioned, you can use Upwork and Fiverr, and you can get people to do the work for you. But the way you expedite this process and it be something worthwhile is you have to have your standard operating procedures. Stop messaging people to get stuff done with no guidance. Okay, lastly, before we open it up to questions, we have affiliate marketing. Okay, so this is like my bread and butter. I just love affiliate marketing. Understand, at the end of the day, everybody wants promotion. The companies that make so much money these days are media companies. Thanks social media for that. But media companies make so much money because everybody wants to advertise. So when you think about blogs, when you think about websites, think about it. You're on social media and then you're reading blogs, you're reading articles. So all those are huge money makers. So how could this be of value to you? Like I said, everybody wants to promote. Even with any kind of services you do. So one of my businesses, I have a directory because everybody wants to be on a directory. Everybody wants to promote their business. These are affiliate links. So there's so many different programs that you probably use that you could be making a percentage of. So, you can manage affiliate programs through ClickBank. You can, be an affiliate for Shopify. You can be an Amazon partner. You can create affiliate links on Share a Sale. And this is also huge in growing your brand because you don't have to be, you could also be the person who is the one with the program. So if you want to build your business fast, you can easily get a lot of people on board if you have a stellar product and they're going to make money off of it. Affiliate is a huge, great way to go to introduce yourself into new markets. So everybody today, I hope that was very interesting. I do have a couple of entrepreneur tools that I'll just leave up, but I am open for questions. So go ahead if you have anything. And again, just screenshot this. This is just some tools that I would recommend.
So there was a few questions in the chat.
Okay, great.
I don't know if, Alicia, do you want to say your question or do you want me to read it out loud? What defines global presence?
I can say it. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Right. So on the second slide, I think when you were talking about WIPOs, you said that you can register for it if you have a global presence. So I'm curious as to what do you mean by global presence? Is it just a website that's accessible everywhere, or maybe you import, say you're importing products from all over the world, or what really defines your global presence?
That's a great question. The answer is sales. So you have to have proof of sales in every country that you would want to apply for. As long as it's quite a few, you should be just fine in applying for the Madrid Protocol. A lot of the times as well, you do have to have some kind of brand authority. It has to be known, pretty well known. It could be just known on e-commerce 100%. But again, you have to be able to prove that you have sales because trademark is only protected by country. So if you have some sales in Canada, you can't apply for a trademark in the States. You have to have a sale there, and then your use in commerce would be based on when you first had a sale in the States. Does that make some sense?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I have another question. So for patents and agreements and all those, do you come up with the paperwork yourself, or do you have to outsource it? Because I'm not familiar with them, but I've heard that they're really long and lengthy and a lot of detail oriented and take up a lot of time.
Okay, is it a retail product? Is it just a product? Like a physical product?
Sure, sure. I'm just asking for like generally.
Yeah, so what's actually cool is I have a summit going on this weekend. We have a lady who she has about 10 patented products and she sells in Nordstrom. So she would be the best to give you information on that. So I can provide you with a free ticket if you want. Just send me an email. I'm sure we can set it up for you all can get my email and then I can give you a ticket. And also anybody else who wants to come to that. But she'll be there talking about patents. So I think you should just come in for that and you can ask her your question because I'm really not an expert at patents, so I don't want to lead you in the wrong direction.
Thank you
Okay,
so
the
much.
next question was from Sine. Post presentation wanted to know, how do you test market care or demand before launching?
Well, again, like I said, there's no new ideas, right? There's just a more innovative way to do it. So whatever industry that is, you should look at who's the top of that industry. Even if you're going to innovate it, it's not like a new market is going to pop up who likes this more innovative. It's going to be that same market that you're taking away to make it more innovative. So if we think about, when it came to cabs and then we had, Uber and Lyft, it wasn't a new market who likes booking on apps. They just moved that market over, right? So you should just look at the market right now who's doing the people at the top, what their demand looks like, where they're getting the most sales and everything, and go from there and see if there's room for a more innovative way to do it. Because as I said, there's nothing new, which is great because you can easily figure that out and just make it more innovative the way you're going to connect with that market.
Does anybody else have any questions they want to ask?
I do have a question. I would say first of all, thank you. This was a very informative session, and it was, great to have a perspective of someone successful. My question might be a little out of scope, but you mentioned Fiverr and Upwork from a hiring person's perspective, and I'm wondering that let's say I have an idea of a service or a digital product, do you think it's a good idea to start to just do a little testing before, initiating anything on Fiverr or Upwork, or is it like a waste of time? Just wondering.
What do you mean by testing? So Upwork and Fiverr is to hire somebody to do work for you. So they could do copywriting for you, they can do graphic design, make a flyer for you. So what do you mean by testing it on Fiverr?
Yeah, so actually my goal is to own my own consulting company. But in
Yes.
order to and I'm pretty confident about my skills, but I still don't have enough experience. So for the sake of experience, if I go work on like Upwork and Fiverr, just wondering if this is a good idea or should I go, other route?
Oh, I think you should absolutely use, if you're doing more consulting, to use Upwork. Upwork has more qualified people for that. And like I said, standard operating procedures, so SOPs. For consulting, the best place to start if you're just starting out and you don't have that much experience is research. I had started doing consulting and I had a team of 4 business students who worked for me while I was in school. And we did consulting for this POS company based in Toronto. It was called Tulip Retail. So they're a POS company, and we did a lot of market research for them. And again, I had the 4 people who worked for me, but then I also outsourced a lot of the work on Upwork because there's a lot of market research.
Yeah.
But again, you need to have that standard operating procedure. So the way that you do it, you can hire somebody to do it the exact same way that you do it. And it's very easy to streamline that in market research.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. That was very helpful.
Lynn had a question about how do you find a mentor and how do you find a mentor?
Yeah, so the best place to find a mentor is at LinkedIn, or you can do events. LinkedIn, I would say, would be best right now because of the pandemic. I met my mentor because I went to this international business conference, and he was one of the speakers. And, I'm an eager beaver, and, Dale knows this. I'm just the type of person, I'll just go right up. And I just, when it came to getting my mentor, I think you just need to be enthusiastic and actually like what they have to say. Don't just go on LinkedIn and be DMing everybody that you want them to be your mentor. Again, read about their work, read what they're putting out there. If they have a book, read it. If they have articles, read it. If they just posted something and they were an expert commentator for a Forbes article and you really enjoyed that article, or you really like whatever it is they're doing, you got to be a fan. You want to be the fan of your mentor. So think about people who you already look up to and go from there, because again, like I said, everybody has a different idea, everybody has a different business. At the end of the day, it comes down to mindset. Yeah, LinkedIn's a good place if you don't know anybody off the top of your head. But again, go to maybe Forbes, read some articles, Google, find the thought leaders, the people at the top of your industry. Those should be the people you already look up to. And if you don't know anybody right now, then you're kind of falling behind in keeping up with what's happening in the industry and who's at the top and at the forefront. Does that help?
I got a question.
Sure.
Thank you for the presentation, Jeanel. I thought it was really informative as well. So I was taking a look at your company, RETAILBOSS.
Yes.
I was just curious, like what exactly is the business model of RETAILBOSS, and how were you able to get it to scale?
Yes, absolutely. So the business model for RETAILBOSS is we're in B2B. So we're in the B2B market, so business to business. So it's more niche, which is great. And we focus on retail businesses. So what I help do is I connect small businesses, whether it be boutiques, as well as it could be any kind of retail chains as well, with another business to help them grow. So whether that be wholesale manufacturers, packaging companies, even a tissue paper company, huge deals, huge investments there, and promoting them. And that's a huge thing that I always say, promotion is huge. So RETAILBOSS is also a directory. So you can sign up, go in there, and you can see our partners who are listed, as well as any kind of events that we do. Even an event that we're doing this weekend, that's a 5-figure event. And that's without, any kind of, in marketing budget or anything. I just have the community, because you build out a directory, right? You provide that information, right? So we're really in the middle of the advertising. So because we have all of those email lists, because we have all these people engaged, there's really no other page that you can be hanging out on and, get 2,000 likes on an Instagram post and 500 comments of people interested in custom tissue paper for their brand. So, and if you go and look at our Instagram, we have some posts there about where we promote different, packaging or conferences or whatever else. And I always also get booked for speaking. And again, that's 5 figures right there in speaking. And so there's so many opportunities, and that's why I'm kind of here to show, yeah, my business model just look, it's nothing super complex. All it really is it tapping into a market that already exists. And again, I use that asset light strategy because on both sides, I do not own it, right? On both sides of the transaction, I'm just facilitating, the meet and greet, really, but virtually.
Well, we've kind of gone over. Do we have time for one more question if anybody has one?
Yeah, I have time.
Looks like we're good.
I have a
Okay.
question.
Okay.
I know that this question's kind of like a cliche, but when I have an idea and I really want to start my business, but it seems like you really have to have like a certain amount of money to start your business. But right now I don't have anything on me. So what should I do to like start a business when I don't have much money or I don't have much capital to start with?
Well, like I always say, you got to be resourceful. You have something. Money, you don't need money to grow a business. That I don't know who came up with that one. You don't need money to grow a business. Maybe you don't really understand what a business is, because there's so much else in a business that needs to be built before you can even make money. So your business even shouldn't even make money till you have a product or service, first of all. But even like a product or service, if you're in services, you would already be able to perform a service. So for example, like the gentleman just asked me before, what does retailboss.co do? Like, what do I do? Like, again, I use my own resources. I have knowledge in retail. I had a lot of contacts from contacts from networking all around the world. I've been to China, Europe, Africa, all for trade shows, negotiations. I have a lot of clients. So I had those resources. And what I did is I took all those resources and I put it in a directory, because I had a lot of smaller businesses and people keep DMing me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting exhausting, having to tell the same people the same stuff, or keep having to look through my emails at, a manufacturer who does footwear. And what I did is I said, you know what, let me take all of this and put it into a directory. And then I can just tell people to go there. Hey, if you're looking for manufacturers who do footwear, just sign up. The information's there. And then after I did all of that, and we have all these people in there and profiles and all the data we had, we realized how valuable that was to companies who do B2B. And that's really where a lot of the new revenue generation areas have come from. And we're just at the top of our game. So again, you don't need money to start. My business is based on resources, right? It's completely 100% resource based. So the money comes in from the resource. So if you have information, if you have contacts, if you have something that people need and it would help them make more money, or again, save time, or do both, which is what Retail Boss does. We help you save time. You don't have to sift through the whole internet. We already vet, so you don't have to vet. We get rid of all the barriers that make B2B business frustrating and hard for a small business in retail. So again, start from there, focus on the resources you have. And what I always say, if your business can't make other people money, it will never make you money. So you need to put the person first. It's not about you not having money and you not making money. Make your business make other people money first. Is the number one way you should go about it. And like I said, there's no new ideas. Look at a market with high demand, with maybe limited supply, and build something in there. Make it asset light model. If it's asset light, then you don't need as much capital to scale it.
Raju, did you have another question? No, you're good. Okay, your hand's still up. Monica asked, what's your favorite social media platform?
What is my social media? My favorite? I don't like social media at all, but we are on social media, as you can see. I always say, you go where your customer is. But again, social media is just a medium of, it's just more like free advertising in my case. So for at least my business, a social media platform that's the best would be Instagram. But again, that's because my market are all small businesses, boutiques, retailers. All of them have an Instagram business page. So they are most active on Instagram. So I am most active on Instagram. That's really how that goes. So you're going to have to figure out what would be best for you based on your market. Pinterest is a great place if you're after more kids and moms. If you're more informational based with courses, I know Pinterest is great for that. So I hope that answers your question. But again, you will be successful if you have a product or service that, hits those basic needs and helps people make more money or make, informed decisions faster. You will be a valuable resource. If you can be a resource and help people make money, you will always make money. So put the customer first. As long as you can make other people money, then you don't have you will get a piece of the pie. But a lot of businesses, you focus too much. How do I make money? I. Have you not looked around at every single business out here? They're making other people money while they make money, right? Retail is, I love retail because all the brands that are in there, everybody makes a piece, right? You're going to buy, a blender, but that blender is owned by a company, a manufacturing company that gets a piece, that's wholesaled by another company that gets a piece, and then it's sold by the retailer who gets a piece, right? And then there's affiliate marketers who have those links on YouTube and they make a piece. So everybody's making a piece of a pie. But if you're just focusing on how do I get the whole pie, that's not how it works. There's pies already out there. You're just trying to get a piece of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today, Jeanel. Awesome session. Everybody, I'm sure you feel the same. We're so lucky to have you join us. Just in case the students didn't know, January 25th, we have our info session on My Tax Accelerate Entrepreneurship Program, how you can get paid to work on your own company, talk about money. And then on the 29th, Design for Success. Deadline for Platform Calgary Sprint is January 31st. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and I hope to see you at our next session. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, and let's all stay connected. Bye.